Welcome back to Titan, and this is episode 19, I think. I should probably have checked that. Anyway, here we are. So last time we got the CO2 feed set up and some of the basics of what we need to feed the waste back. In fact, remember that we have some pipes in here, so even better. Look at that, we're almost there. However, we have a heat problem over in the gas annex, which we need to deal with. We also have a persistent power challenge, which we also need to deal with. So, let's go start tackling some of those. But before I do, let's quickly go and grab a little drink. And a little eat. Oh, actually, I've already got a potato there. Right, fine. Okay, I'll put that one there. I'll put the other one back in the fridge then. Shut that. Yeah, and we do really need to sort that, because if we don't, we are going to have a problem with the greenhouse. Right. Okay, we're good. Anything else I need to do? That's in a reasonable state. The battery is marginally more charged than what I've got, but not much. Right, let's go. Right, so first things first, I would very much like if we had enough to build a couple upright wind turbines. Whoops, don't know what I did there, I turned much further than I expected. Let's grab that, just chuck that in there. I'm not even sure how much heavy cable I'm going to need. Dial it in for 8. See if I can make a couple of these. Is that going to leave me short of copper? Probably. Oh, there was some there anyway. Good, we'll grab those. Now, I did say last time that I would have a look at just getting we've got enough gold. Don't think there's any there, but there might be some in here. How much you got? 10. Not great, but I'll take it. Don't think there's much more. We need to sort out the power because, yeah, we do have a problem. Right, okay, well, in the meantime, let's, got enough copper. Oh, no, it's gold I'm actually short of anyway. Right, so I want to make 2 of those. One more and then I'll break it. Come on. 5, get to 5, there we go. Let's do that. Although actually there was a bit in there, so I didn't really need to do that. Right, we'll make a couple of these. Say a couple, we'll make 1 of these. I need more gold and I need more copper. It's going to be a problem when I make the stuff to cool down the annex as well, because I'm going to need gold for the radiators. Right, what we do want is a heat exchanger. If I get away with a small So it's possible, whoops, that's the recycler, that I've actually got some Invar lurking somewhere, probably in here. Nope, probably not in here. Oh no, it is 4 though, that's not going to do it, is it? Should I need 10? No, okay. Alright. Well, I may as well go and install this wind turbine. Might at least slightly help. Right. Okay, well I won't need any more cable once I've laid this in, I don't think, or not for a while. Two. There we go. Right, that'll be enough to put quite a few more turbines in. Probably enough that I'll overload the grid if I actually do it. But I think the issue is likely that there's a bit of stuff in there. A bit of stuff processing in there now. Means I turned loads of these off last time because we were low on power. That now means I don't have enough materials to get more power. Right, how much is in there? Not very much. Okay, at least it's flowing. Right, okay. Well, I guess I'll have to just go and build what I can. Yeah, not enough copper. Okay, right. Also don't have enough copper to make a heat exchanger. Okay, so let's start building the bits I can make. I'm going to need some... no, I won't try and use a counterflow. Well, I've got the stuff for anyway. Right, I'm going to need probably some more insulated pipes. I suspect I've got some lurking through there that I could use, but I'd better go and find out. Let's smelt the copper I have got in the meantime. Oh, there's 10 more gold. That's useful. Okay, you get going there. Okay, and that's a 30 stack, so that should certainly sort us out. Let's turn some of this stuff off, because that's not going to be helping, is it? Right, I'm going to go and see how many pipes I've got, if any. Maybe I'll be none. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do is leverage the cold atmosphere just as a simple cooling system. So I will probably put an active vent inside, which is going to suck room atmosphere through a set of pipes that go into a heat exchanger. So there's 3 there. 18. Oh, there's tons. Right, okay, so that's one thing I don't need. Oh, power critical. Amazing timing. I should have checked that first. Right. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to bring some insulated atmosphere. I need to... Okay, so I've got some normal pipes. Knowing that my battery's low, I'm wondering whether I ought to go deal with that first. I probably should. Okay, but at least I've got lots of insulated pipes, I know that. Oh, nice little fly. Right, okay. Oh dear. Okay, this is not a good state to be in, is it? Gonna have to burn some more coal, which I did not really want to have to do. Let's scrap half that stack, the other half can go back. Oh, I've already got some in there, not much though. Put that in, get it going. Should probably put some automation around that next. Right, okay, I'm not about to die, that's a nice change. Right, okay. So, copper, get here, get in there, get smelted. Right, so I need definitely need a heat exchanger. I'll go with a small for now. It's going to need that steel. Where is it? It doesn't need very much copper. Just enough to get started. Let's print one of those. And then we'll have an active vent. Right, so these iron and gold and copper. Right, let's just do that. It's irritating, I'm going to have to eject all these, and that up there. Did that the wrong way around, never mind, too late now. Eject those. And that's sort of not involved. Right, okay. Iron, thank you very much. That can go into there. Right, we'll have one active vent and we'll have one passive vent for the inside. I guess we'll do that so things actually fly through. Oh, got the had that there in the time anyway. Right, okay. Right, so we're going to flow that through. I'm going to need some radiators on the inside. Do I need radiators inside? I probably don't actually. In fact, I might go with no radiators at all. If I make another active vent. Put this outside. I'll probably best build another pipe drain because that's going to go wrong otherwise. And then I want a tank. I do not want it to be insulated very explicitly. Right, running out of hand space. Right, let's go and try to build this and then see how we're getting on. Hopefully I can make some more wind turbines afterwards, but let's do this bit first. So we'll place, whoops, place that tank on there, and we're going to suck atmosphere into that. I'm going to use insulated pipes because of the way that clips. Before I do this, since I'm already on power critical again, turn that light off though, couldn't I? That would help quite a lot. Switch that over there. Is that finished on the coal already? It has as well, blimey. Right. So what I'm going to do is connect that tank so I can see what's where. That's okay. It's probably not quite the best place for it, but it'll do the job. Got power in the wall there, yes, great. Okay, so let's bring that down there. Right. Now, how am I going to set this up? Perhaps we'll take advantage of, oops, I had that about right. Perhaps we'll take advantage of having that wall there and fit it something like that. Maybe one further back. There. Okay. That works. Right. Okay, so becomes a, oops, no, that does not become a vent. That becomes a pipe into there. And now, simplest way to do this is probably, let's bring that through there for now. One active vent in here. Perhaps we'll put it at this end where it's likely to get hottest. That one can go away and put a passive vent down here. Whoops, down here. Somewhere. Should be far enough to circulate the air. They can just be ordinary pipes. Keep those two back for building what goes in there. So once we use insulated. What's that looking? Nearly. And straight. Come on, straight. If I can get in there. There we go. Lovely. Right, and then we'll wire up that vent. Oh. So what's going on? Right, okay, so we'll wire that up there. And I'm going to set that to inward because, no, I will now. Do I want to set that to inward or do I want to set it to outward? Actually, it'd be better to set it outward. That will stop it over-pressurising that pipe. And then that should just circulate round. I should have probably put this at the other end with hindsight, but never mind. So obviously at the moment that's doing absolutely nothing. But the plan is to fill that tank with atmosphere. So let's grab these. Let's go out there and do that. If unfortunately that's just another bit of electrical equipment that's running, but we'll only need to run that when it's actually in need of being cooled. So we'll put some automation on it. Right, now let's just keep it simple. Let's put a pipe on there. Let's put that onto there. Let's set that to inward, and then attempt to wire it without quite knowing where I'm going inside. Whoa, fell off. Okay. Right, so I think that one is somewhere about here. That's a guess. There we go. Okay, and then up and down. No! Ah! Come on, just get on the roof, turn your jetpack off, stop messing about. We've got work to do here. Right, and then across there. Will I have enough cable? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I just about will. Just about will. Now the other thing I need to do, I should have thought about that. I'll have to put it over here. Because that's a junction, so I can't connect to there, but I can do that, and I can do that, and then I can put that train, whoops, to get the right type, onto there. Okay, good. Right, and then I should be able to do, the battery's dead, of course it is. Right. Yeah, you see that's already liquefied a bit. But if I pump a reasonable amount of pressure in there, it'll act as a pretty effective heat sink. Get a couple of thousand moles of very cold gas in there. Get out to 1 MPa, I think. I mean, it's liquefying reasonably quickly, but... Right, so there we go, and that should be what we need there. Hopefully. So the question is, how effective will that be inside? What I'm hoping is that that will be enough to give me some reasonable cooling in here. Okay, so that's definitely several degrees cooler than the room. Temperature is indeed coming down quite nicely. So it's not a fully passive system, and that actually is going to be a slight issue, isn't it? Because that is going to keep cooling this bit no matter what. Might need to put a one-way valve on there, so that once we turn it off, it doesn't just, well, I might even need a liquid drain actually. We'll see how we go, but anyway, for now that is bringing the temperature down, which is what I needed to have happen. So now I just need to put a bit of automation around this to turn this system on when it's too hot and that heater on when it is too cold, and I think then we are probably in business. Now the good news is I've most certainly got space on one of these. Yes, this nitrogen one will do the job, so I don't need to print a housing unit, I just need to print the chip. Okay, well we'll leave that to run for a bit, I'll go do that. I'm going to need a temperature sensor in there anyway. So we need a sensor, iron, gold and copper. Of course, all of this is here now. One of those, and I need an IC10, which I'm going to need more gold, some steel, some electrum, some solder. Okay, well that shouldn't be an issue because we've got both of those too. And we've got that one. But gold might be a problem. Did I have some gold left in here? Yes, I did. Fine. I'll take it. At least that's what I would be saying. If it would come out. Come on. Thank you. You can go in there. That's enough to make one of those. And then the next thing we're going to do is see if we can make any more. Whoops. There's a P, not an O in upright. Copper. How much copper was left in there? None at all, but I've got a stack here. Not very much. Might have enough to make, yeah, one more wind turbine. Okay, that would be nice. I know we won't. Typical. Right, okay. Let's get that into the laptop. Let's close some windows. Oops, laptop battery's dead, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, that's no use either. Have we got any more gold in here yet? Doesn't look like it. No, okay. I'll grab that. It's only a small stack, but I'm going to grab it anyway because I have a feeling we might need it. Give that a little boost there. Yes, we did need it rather desperately. But, swap that there. Oh, I've got a chip. I didn't even realise I've got a spare chip. Right, okay. Could have saved myself that, and then I would have had enough. I've only got one bit of cable as well, but that shouldn't be a big problem. Right, well, I guess, while we're waiting for the airlock, we could probably write some code. So we're going to have a little loop, as always, and we're going to yield, and then we're going to jump back to the loop. And what we're going to do, we're going to load from device 0, which will be the gas sensor. Load to R0 from T0. We'll load the temperature. And then we will say need to put the right active vent on there. We can't batch write that, so we will say is if the temperature is greater than 298, then we'll set R1, and if it's less than 288, no, 293, then we'll set R2, and then we will save to device 2 on R1, that's the cooling fan. So it's not device 2, it's device 1. What the hell am I talking about? And we'll do a batch save to device hash. I realise that I am standing in the airlock and I probably should have just there we go, device hash for the wall heater. I should have just paused that. There we go. Paste that into there. So we'll turn on all wall heaters on this circuit, which is only that one because we split it earlier, if it is too cold. And that should be all we need to do, other than I'm going to set a couple of aliases in case I need this later. So we're going to call the gas sensor is going to be D0, and alias active vent cooler D1. Right, that should work. It's not very good camel cases here. Let's do that. There we go. Right, cool. That should be enough, I hope. I expect there's probably something wrong with that because I've written it rather quickly, but, you know, there we go. Let's go and insert that chip into there. Okay, going to be like that. You be like that. There we go. That's fine. And we'll turn that off for a minute while I deal with this. And then I just need to set the screws. If I can get in the right position to set the screws. Oh, I hate doing this on here. Right. Oh, of course, no point trying to set the screws until I've actually installed the gas sensor, is there? Right. That's the gas sensor that I want. I'm going to call that. No, I'm not going to call that anything because it's got no power. I'm going to call that gas sensor annex. I'm going to call that active vent cooler. And I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to put that in there. Oops, I had it, I lost it. There we go, that's sorted. Right. And then we're going to come back here, and hopefully it will all be possible to set that now to active vent cooler. You see my point about active vents and gas sensor annex. Where are you? Gas sensor annex. There we go. Power critical again. Amazing. There we go. So hopefully that will be running because it is still hot, although it's already down to 45 degrees, so this is definitely working. Turn that off, and hopefully I can now leave this largely running unattended. We've got a waste line coming in here, so in fact if I were to grab those pipes we could hook that up internally as well, and I think we're good to go. Right. Let's refresh that filter when I'm inside, and I'm not sure whether we have a... Oh, no, we do, that's fine. Right, I still need an atmospherics unit here for the oxygen. But, you know, one thing at a time. Okay, that's better. So, in theory, I can leave that unattended. Feels like that's probably a stupid thing to do, but I'm going to leave it unattended. Let's go. Oh dear. Probably should have done this a little earlier before I was down to 8% battery. We really need to sort out power generation again. No time to lose with worrying about that for a minute though. Split that in half. I don't want to use all of it by accident and find I've got nothing left in an emergency. I'll leave that one in here. Oops. There we go. Right. Okay. The next stage of panic is possibly slightly under control. Right, let's go. Back inside. That is seriously struggling. I really don't want to get stuck in here. Right, battery there is fully charged, so it should now start to charge these. Okay. Right, now. Okay, so we've got a one-way valve on there. We need to put in a regulator, which is why I'm walking around with a regulator. Oh, I should put the pipe in first, then this would not have had so many possible ways it could have gone. back pressure reg. Yeah. Would be nicer if I didn't have to run the cables so far. Put it there. That'll do. Right, this one needs to be coloured, but okay. So I have no cable, but in theory, once I do have cable, I can then have this set to maybe 75 or something. We're not near it yet, but then that should start to circulate through. That's set to 75, isn't it? So let's set this a bit lower. So let's actively set it to 65. Yeah, 65. That should average out to 70. Right, okay. Right, so in theory, that's a one-way valve. Let's turn that on. That's not yet running, but we'll need to. We need cable to that, and then I think we are finally in a state where the greenhouse is not in imminent danger of killing us. On the other hand, I've just run out of power in my suit, which is bad. Let's chuck that in there. Right. Okay. Right, while I'm in here, let's eat and drink, since I can hear him whinging about that. Top off the suit tank. And we'll give the plants my CO2. Okay, it's not a lot of CO2, but there's a little bit. Right, okay. I'm not going to plant the rest of that until this is stable, but when it is, we've got loads of space to expand right across here, which will give us a food and an oxygen farm. Fantastic. Right, okay. I think the next thing that needs to be done is to go deal with the issues with power. Honestly, let's just check there's no volatiles or other mess in there. No, there's not. Good. Okay. Yeah, we really do. Look, that's literally dead. So let's chuck that in there and that in there, just to get this to run. Right, have I got enough materials for another upright wind turbine? I needed more gold. Must have some in one of the centrifuges, even if there's none in here, surely. Yeah, right, okay, I'm going to go out and try it. This one, was this the one that had some stuff in? Yeah, that's looking reasonably hopeful. That one was looking decent as well, and it's not processing anything, so it can empty. That one's got a little bit. Okay, great. I can't remember whether that drills off. Yes, it is. Right. Okay, well, it's got another one to process when it's finished ejecting anyway, so that's good. Okay, very good. That'll be enough for one more turbine at least. Come Come on, I know you've got some gold in here now. There it is. It's not great, but I have to do what I can at this point. I think I actually only needed one more, didn't I? Yes, I literally did. Let's get that building. Right, okay. Let's close some of these windows. I don't need them all open. Right, okay, let's go and install this one. Probably need to build up a set of full-size wind turbines at some point, but that's just so much more complicated because you need the set of maybe 6 or 10 and then a battery to buffer them for when you have a storm. Although I'm wondering whether the latest changes is why these are not generating as much, because they don't seem to get as excitable as they did. They were behaving like they were in storm conditions twice a day, and they seem not to be now. So I'm wondering whether it's something as a result of the latest game patch. I don't know. Anyway, a little bit more power should help. It's at least 59% charged, I'll take it. How's this going? It is actually empty. Yeah, we're definitely using more power than we're generating. I'm sure that was not happening at all before. They were going very fast at this time of day. Okay, well, nothing really to be done about that other than build more. So who has got more gold? You, I believe. A little bit. Although it's probably enough, actually, at this point. I'll take it. I'm just going to check that I didn't leave the pump on here. I did. That's also not helping, is it? That's just going to be using insane amounts of power. Right, that's actually most likely my real underlying problem. I need to have a think about that. Again, might need some automation, so when that furnace is empty, just turn the pump off, or turn the whole furnace off. Let's see how we go on. Yeah, you see those are not even spinning now, which never happened before. Anyway, right, I have slots for 3 more if I can make them, which I can't make all of, but... Come on, I've just ejected. Where's my goal? There it is. No, what? Something must have gone in just as I hit the button. Ooh, 13, that's actually really good. Happy with that. Oh, we've run out of copper as well. Of course we have. Of course we have. So that needs 10 copper for each, so I'm going to need... a bit more than I have, because I don't think I have any. I know there's some. Alright, we'll take that as well. Oh, actually, this might even work. Right, that is not quite enough, but I can get some more going. Making 2. Get that down to 20, and then that should be a 6 stack that comes out. Nice. We have to get 1 going while it finishes the smelting. Not that I'm paranoid about the power running out or anything, but I'm paranoid about the power running out. Right, come on. Get that to 10. I'll do 1 more gold. Then I'll put the rest in. Okay, that'll be enough to make another one. Lovely. Might just about have enough to make a 3rd. That would be brilliant. If I smelt all of this. There we go. In you get. Okay, I mean, I've got no more raw materials for anything, but at least if I've got... I was going to need some iron.
Hunger caution.
I'll put my iron in here. Yep, that's all that's in there. Okay, and then as soon as this is done... Actually, at that point, I think that's enough. That's 5. Look at that. We'll get 1 more out of that. There we go. So that's 3 wind turbines. All right, that's a decent start. That can go in there. Save power. Right, as soon as that's done, we'll get on the roof, we'll install those. It's probably getting towards a sensible time to stop, I would have thought, at that point. Right, come on. Unfortunately, I did not make a note of what time this video started, so I actually have very little idea of how we're doing, other than day 50, but that's day 50 for this character now because they changed it, which means I think it's day 57, so I think we've done 3 days. Yeah, look, these are hardly moving. That's definitely behaving differently than it was pre the last patch. I hate it when they fix things. Right, there we go. Right, well, I'm going to have one quick last check on the gas annex to see how that's going, and then I'm going to head inside. I'm going to check the state of the power. And feed myself and water myself. And then we'll probably call it a day. Right, I need my suit light on in here. Right, so that's now hit. There we go. Look, it's 24 degrees in here. That has turned off. This is now filtering some gas. Not as much as I'd like. It would be nice if this would adjust a bit quicker. I guess that's quite a big tank. It should start to equalise. Yeah, it's equalising with the room, and I guess the point is these tanks will also equalise with the room. That is still far too hot. That is still a bit too hot. but that's okay. I'm not mixing these at this stage. At some stage I will mix the CO2 with nitrogen for the greenhouse, just to make the CO2 go further, because you can see there's 200 moles in there and 4,000 in there, but for now we're not doing that, so this can re-stabilise itself at temperature. This is gradually cooling. Yeah, this is gradually cooling. I think once that... Oh no, that is actually running. Good, okay. Yeah, good. Alright, so there's a fair bit of gas being pumped out of there already. The question is now, have we got any hot gas left in here? Yes, we have. I could actually turn that back on now. Okay, so that's going to ramp it up, which is what I expected. But then these should just shut down nicely, which is what they have done. Okay, so we'll leave that to do its thing. That's obviously going to heat the room. So I'm expecting at some point shortly temperature's going up slowly for this to kick back in. But we have now got basically a stable situation. That's generating a little bit of power, not a huge amount. I think we could probably turn the pressure up a bit on here. Let's see what happens. Meant to do 3,000, but I didn't click it enough times. We are 446 watts. Certainly the pressure is not complaining, so that's good. Alright, well. Yeah, I guess that's going to decline as this is now very hot. I probably need radiators to forcibly dump heat from there into the room and then let this system cool it back down again. Let's see where it goes. But that's at 24, 25 degrees, so that's pretty sensible. That is cooling down. That is cooling down. Okay, pretty happy with how that's working, actually. Oh, that's an empty one, isn't it? I should have made more paint. Right, yeah, I mean this bit here can be dealt with at some point. I'll rip it out. That was obviously the unit we had to pressurise up some volatiles, but that's fine. That should be empty now. Yes, it is. Okay, so that can all come out later, which will be useful for building some oxygen and jetpack refueling, which we will need the jetpack refueling reasonably soon. Actually, I've just noticed where it is, but half used. Okay, alright, I am going to leave that running in there for now. Reasonably happy with that. Let's just put that in there. I think we have finally tamed the gas anyway. Whoops, flying. Okay, so that's actually pretty good. I know we've got some significant power problems, and I do need to probably get inside and see how bad those are. I think they're pretty bad because that is looking completely flat, and that's not exactly looking beautiful either. I think before I go inside I'm going to dump some more coal in that generator. No, that's stupid in between pressure where the... right, there we go. Get some coal, come on. Oh, I've got some outside anyway. I didn't even need to come in here and do this. I'm an idiot. Right, let's go put that in the generator before I go inside. It's down to 0 already. I think that's a temperature problem rather than anything else, but still. Right. Okay.
Oxygen critical.
Okay, so in theory, we should now have 9%. Look at that, decent CO2 in here. Obviously the pressure's higher than it is out there. Okay, so we have solved that problem. I do need to sort out that. I forgot to bring back cable for the back pressure reg, but we have solved that problem. So that is good. That's definitely one less thing that's going to kill us. And that's enough to keep it going for quite a while, realistically. I could plant some more plants if I was feeling brave. We've got quite a lot of seeds. I think we'll just get a couple more in. Go. These are all 10 stacks of wheat. There we are. I'll take that 3 there. We'll plant those in over here. Good. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's now got into a state where, whilst power is a consistent problem, hopefully that has resolved the lack of oxygen generation. So that's good news. This is sitting idle because we've got a tank full of oxygen there ready to use. So whatever else those plants generate should be breathable. This room's at 5%, and I don't have anything complaining, although I do have a red warning. So I think we're in pretty good shape. Okay, good. Right, let's just get sorted, fed and watered and those sorts of things, and then that seems like a pretty sensible place to end the episode, to be honest. So I'll drink that. Let's grab that potato that's in there. And cook that.
Hunger critical.
Well, it's lucky if hunger is critical that I have just about got into a state where I'm ready to eat a potato. There we go. Got that. In fact, I could even go crazy and take my suit off for a minute, which will hopefully cheer the poor guy up, although he's sad about the lack of oxygen, and the 29% burn damage. That'll be lung damage, I guess, but mood is not increasing. Oh, go on, increase, you know you want to. Is that any better? 101% breathing efficiency, come on, what are you complaining about? Really? No, I won't release more oxygen. Oh well, I was hoping I could at least get the mood up a bit, but apparently not. Not quite ready for that, but you know, going in the right direction. Anyway, there we go. Right, a useful episode. Power, as I say, does remain a problem, but we have hopefully at least tamed the gas temperature and got a semi-steady supply from the furnace. So that's good. We got basics of gas processing up and running in a nice temperature controlled environment. We've got plenty of nitrogen, which we'll start piping in here to start lifting the pressure, but the first thing I need to do is to obviously get enough ore to come through so that I can make another atmospherics and actually start extracting oxygen through there. At some point I can decommission this apparatus, but we're going to leave that as it is for now until I know that I've got a good steady supply in the main atmospherics. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to see you on the next episode. As I always say, if you are enjoying these, if you like and subscribe, I would appreciate it very much, and see you next time.